Are you?
I'd like to, are you calling the meeting to order?
Yes, please.
I would like to announce on record.
Yeah, okay, great.
It has to be announced.
Yeah, I understand that. I saw that in the minutes from last time and wondered why.
It's required. You have to.
Well, that's the only recording. It's not a separate recording.
Well,
No.
plus, but the
Now,
was recording.
I started to do it before the library actually started recording, but I don't know, I just got in a habit, so I'm continuing so. Doesn't always work very well, so I'm glad Loretta does it.
Okay.
I just saw that on the agenda, so I apologize. I have to excuse myself momentarily. This room threw me off. I don't have the bills with me, so I will bring those down. We'll pass them around. But if you want to start in on the minutes while I'm gone, sure. So we're not delaying.
June 10th. Anyone have any comments or edits for the minutes on June 10th?
If no one else does, I have some.
She's not, she's doing it by Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Stephanie.
Stephanie, yeah.
Stephanie.
We don't see her. Steph, you're not on.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm
You
here.
just,
There she is. Welcome.
Hey,
Good to
Steph.
see you.
Hi. Same
Thanks
here.
for joining us.
Sure.
So this Steph, let me, oh, there she is. Hi. Under on, I think it's page 2. Under treasurer's report. It said Mr. Mareshi took over the meeting. Now, this is the meeting that I had to leave because of my granddaughter's emergency, so I only attended the first 10 minutes, I think. So I can't say I was very interested in these minutes because it was good for me to see what happened, but I was gonna say, instead of, just to be a little more professional, and since we are changing some language in one of the policies, I would say Mr. Mareshi presided over the meeting.
I'm sorry, we're,
We're under,
treasurers, no.
up at the top. Yeah.
up at the top of page 2, in the bold,
asterisk,
yeah.
Yeah.
Just instead of took over, because that's really not appropriate, but presided, unless somebody else has a better suggestion for.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, Allison. Where are you? Because that first on the second, where is this? Oh, the line with the asterisk.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
Thank you. So it's where the asterisk is there.
Correct, I just suggest we change took over to presided.
Gotcha.
Right, understood you.
Okay,
Does, do we need to differentiate from, because presiding could imply that I presided over the entire meeting and not just this section?
It was the whole meeting because it got turned over right away.
well, the only thing that happened was the chair stuff, but took over, we'll find a different word than presided, I'm happy for that.
Yeah, again, I'm not.
It's just it took over, kind of, that's not what you do to a board, you don't take over.
Began.
Parliamentary note,
Began presiding,
chaired the meeting,
thank
you
you.
were elected chair.
So,
Chair,
well,
chair.
it's, so, yeah, so in policy that we're going to discuss, 4, it's going to say the role of the chairperson is to preside. So that's where I picked up that word.
Right.
So,
I think either way is fine. What Jackie said or what Allison said. I don't.
Fine.
Either way, I think.
which would you,
Then
which do we want? Susan, do you have any, because you're a wordsmith.
Chair, if chaired's good, chaired parliamentarily speaking,
You chaired the, were you elected chair?
yes,
Then you did chair the meeting.
Okay,
does that work?
yeah, that's perfectly fine, is that good?
Either way is fine.
Thank you. Okay, and then if you go to page 3. I just had a question because it says in the bullet at the top. It's the 4th bullet under co-chair secretary nomination. No, it isn't. It's It's underperformance evaluation. It's the 1, 2, 3rd bullet on page 3, and it reads, board members who were present, and then it was Ms. Mareshi, Ms. Bennett, Ms. Pickley, were in agreement that they strongly disagree with the low numbers presented regarding Ms. Swift Johnson's evaluation. So I'd like, as a person who was not in attendance and who's reading this, I'd like a clarification, please, because did you, Mark, Erin, and Susan, were you saying that Jackie had not properly tallied the numbers? Because if Jackie didn't tally the numbers, then that's what you would disagree with. But if it was simply digital tally of what people submitted in their review, it was all numerical. So it was, the numbers were either the numbers or they weren't the numbers. You can't disagree with something that was a fact. Now you gotta remember.
I disagreed with the low numbers of the evaluation.
Yet you were a person who submitted those numbers and Jackie tallied them. I mean, it wasn't an opinion, it was a statistical number, so you can't disagree with the statistic.
I think, again, as a leader and as a board that strives to be working together, I think, the numbers show, a divide that doesn't represent the majority of the board.
But the majority, I don't understand what you're saying.
I'm saying you should probably be embarrassed that you gave such low remarks, but that's,
Well,
that's neither here nor there for
And
the.
it wasn't me who gave low remarks because these numbers
compilation.
represent all 5.
Right, I understand, we know,
So everybody gave low remarks if it came in low.
not necessarily true.
It also changed, Mark, that you might not know from the prior year. The prior year, we had 4 options of, I forget all the details, but and now it went down to 3. So that does unfortunately lower the score with less options. And the way it was written, I think that probably affected perhaps the lower number that you're seeing.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying here is this, regardless of any kind of changes, Jackie, can I ask you, you took the 5 reviews and tallied them according to your statistical system.
I just did the basic average of every category. And I was there at the meeting.
So,
So
I-
you
I'm happy to-
presented that.
I'm happy to offer that I felt at the time it was being communicated to me. And this is just my opinion, it was being communicated to me, not that there was an error with the calculation of the numbers, but people were disappointed in what the
Oh,
numbers
I was
symbolized.
just gonna say, can we change disagree to we're strongly disappointed?
Well, I guess that
I mean,
makes
that's
more
just
sense. The numbers were what the numbers were, and this
Yeah.
is how you felt emotionally about it.
Is that what you do? You put emotions into minutes like that? Very odd.
I mean, this is something you could certainly have discussed in the meeting. I'm not sure if it needs even to get into the minutes.
Are you just trying to ask Allison, because you're trying to understand what took place, because you weren't here, right?
Well, I wasn't here, so when I read this, it's not possible to strongly disagree with numbers that Jackie followed the procedure and tallied.
I
5,
think it was more Marcus saying he didn't like what he saw and is pointing figures at certain people.
well, then say it, I mean,
I think he did.
then that's, I'm sorry, Stephanie, but to me, this doesn't seem to reflect. Nobody can disagree with the statistical number. It's a
So
number.
I'm suggesting we, change that to that they were strongly disappointed.
With their own calculations of 5 board members. So
Sure,
you disagree, you were not a part of that,
right, right,
but so you had no say in it or input in that.
Yep.
Because you weren't here at the time. So you strongly agree with what 5 board members
I strongly-
individually put
I'm
in there.
strongly disappointed in the low numbers, yeah.
Disagree, disappointed, well, I'll say disappointed then, I'll change your word from what is here. But, so you're disappointed in
So
what
how about
5
if we
board
just said
members did.
expressed strong disappointment with the low numbers?
I'm okay with that. Does that work for you, Susan?
Yep. So after your name, after Susan's name, it's expressed Strong disappointment. With, and it continues with the low numbers presented regard, yeah, that works. Um. So that, everything else that I was that my notes represent here are really questions for later as we proceed through the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion then to accept the minutes with the edits that were just mentioned by Allison. Second.
All in favor?
All abstaining.
Okay. Next. Agenda. Sorry.
You have another set of rules.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Here.
It came out. You might not have seen it, Mark. It was the minutes from Jackie for the joint meeting.
Yeah, I saw them. I thought I printed them, but they're probably still on my printer, so, thank you.
You need one, Allison?
No, because I thought they were in good order, so I have no comments.
Does anyone else have any comments on these minutes from July 9th meeting at the Four Meadow School?
I would make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
I second that motion to accept the July 9th, 2024 minutes of the joint meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. You. Okay.
I'm up.
Well,
Yep.
yes, you are.
Actually, if we could just pause for 1 second, sorry to interject, but about the signing of the bills, you will see that the warrant is there. Our monthly expenditures, and we had a last minute bill come in, so there will be a second warrant cover sheet for the chair, Mark, to sign off on. And all of the bills will need 3 initials. Per usual. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So while you do it, you want me to do it?
Yes, please. Please.
So, as some of you know, the Friends don't meet in the summer, so we don't meet in June, July, and August. However, I did go through the financials for year-end FY 24, which was July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. And so I thought I could share some of those numbers. Because it's pretty impressive. So our annual campaign, as well as all the other income sources that we have, which are things like our ongoing book sale, our photo card sales, the turkey trot and the Kirby's give us as part of the grant program. And then we have other donations and fundraisers. Last fiscal year, we brought in $26,248.07. Let me know, Stephanie, if you can't hear me. And then I thought that I would just share that we actually have 2 sources of money that comes in. We have our annual campaign and fundraisers that we do. And then we also have the building fund, which is money that was left over from the building project that we did for the library. So last fiscal year, the Friends spent $37,969.88 on behalf of the library. And a bit of a breakdown, just so you have a feel for where it came from. $10,281.14 was for building and facilities. So the largest part was upgrading this particular room's technology, which we did in conjunction with other aspects. And then we also bought the Wi-Fi for the trustees room. That was another big part, but we also bought portable seating for the teens and tweens and things like that. We spent $5,450 on landscaping for the library. And we spent $22,238.74 on programs, supplies, prizes, promotional materials, fees. So it was a very, very good, successful year for the Friends and for the library, which is terrific. And then I wanted to also mention that at Loretta's suggestion, I was able to attend an all day, it was actually a 2-day, I did 2 of the days, which was a webinar online. It was run by the United Libraries Association, but I was able to attend for free because of the Massachusetts Libraries Association. They sponsored me, and I attended the fundraising day event as well as the Friends Group day event, and it was awesome. I learned a lot. And I'm very anxious to share that with the executive committee. So some of the ideas I think will be very helpful for next fiscal year. And the Friends meet again in September. And I'm all set.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
It was a
Great
very, very good,
Yeah, great.
thank you for the support.
Fiscal year ends June 30th.
Right, we switched, we were doing annually, but 2-3 years ago, we switched so that our budget was in line with what Loretta's is. So it took us a little bit to adjust, but that's what we've done now.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a good idea.
And I know you said some of the outside building and some of the expenditures, I don't know when the right time is to bring it up, but I love the front of the building with all the trees cut out there. Just so
That was
much
Loretta,
You noticed.
that was
Yes.
Loretta.
Thank you.
beautiful, really, you can
Then the
see
I
DPW,
did, I was.
The
out there with
DPW
bucket
did.
truck.
still, you can see the building now.
yeah,
Really,
they did a
nice.
great job.
Great, well, thank you again. We appreciate it. Okay, our next agenda item is the trustees report. And first is the election of treasurer, or what we decided would be a discussion of the election of treasurer. And assuming that assuming there assuming that things are still the same since our last election, that there was no one interested in the treasurer's position. And one of the conversations was to ask Costa if he'd be interested. We thought we would discuss with you the position and see if you're interested and if you have questions about it.
You know, if I can help in that role, I'm certainly open to it. You know, is there any disagreement or any issues concerning the current balances? So if I were to take over as treasurer, I want to have a clear starting point of what things are.
You would have a clear starting point. It's in the Fidelity account and some other endowment.
We've approved at every meeting, we've
Yeah.
never not.
It's just more of getting the most difficult part, which took years and years, is to getting the names Loretta can explain that more, I think would be the best person, actually, if you don't mind, Loretta.
Certainly, so I think it's important to have a discussion about this because the responsibilities are numerous for this role. We have a lot of different accounts. There are restrictions on how those accounts can be used, so what we can spend the funds on. So I think if you wanted to spend some time with me, going over, as I have a large filing box of folders and account information. So to Maria's point, what she was saying, one of the things that we have been trying to deal with, ongoing issue that we've been trying to work with was Fidelity, and North Shore Bank has been really good though,
Yeah.
changing things over, but
It was-
we had hit some,
signatures and
right, hit
on
some
accounts.
issues with
Mhm.
Fidelity and getting the
Transfer,
signature
yeah.
name, the signature names swapped over, so. To
To-
the best of my knowledge, that the problem and why it was delayed for so long has been corrected. I believe Tim, who was holding the treasurer role prior, had resolved the issue. So hopefully, you know, if you choose to do this or assume this position, that won't be a problem.
Is Donna still on? Donna still
So
is, right?
that I would check with Mark.
Yeah, so I went to Fidelity a couple weeks ago and, Donna's still there, George is still there, there's somebody else from the eighties, just kidding.
Yeah.
But there is another name there as well.
Stankus, Melissa Stankus? Does that sound familiar?
It wasn't that, I know, I would have known that was her. But regardless, Donna went there last week and took herself off because it's not, from a fiduciary standpoint, I can't go have her name taken off, so she had to go there. There may be a case where we need to have George go back and do the same thing. But I don't have access to the account electronically yet, but I have the latest printout. Donna was able to do that for me a couple of days ago. So I have the latest printout and I will have access shortly, and she will be off it shortly. And as far as I know.
I'm sorry, Mark,
Sure.
how could you have access if you're not on the account? You just said you'd have access when Donna was off.
I will have, I got the report from her.
Yeah.
And as soon as I've already gone and submitted all the paperwork.
Okay.
I've done everything I need to do.
To be
It's
authorized.
it's being processed now. It's in the Fidelity's. And that office is extremely busy with a lot of people coming to take money out and talk about money. But as far as I know, as far as my short time here, all of the accounts there's no discrepancies, no known problems with anything, and I have extra copies of the latest reports that show where everything is, including all of our trust funds where money sits, as well as the balances at North Shore Bank. And then this was the one from the last meeting, and then Don has formulas set up in these so that when you put the new one in, they all total and do what they do. Don't know how frequently these statements go on, but I don't have those, but I think those have been there for decades. I think one of them's been there. Can you tell me one of these funds have been there for?
A few of those accounts have been there since the library.
Yeah. Hundreds of years.
1890s, early 1900s.
Wow.
Do that.
Okay.
That should match that.
Do you have the reports for us, Mark?
The
That we usually review the reports
finance,
for the month?
yes. Yep, have copies.
Usually that we distribute it to what is the treasurer distributes it to the board prior to the meeting.
Now that, well, potentially Costa, but at least now that all this is set up and I have the everything into my laptop, I can start doing this electronically or give it to Costa to do electronically if we move forward, so. But for now, it looks like the value of the Fidelity account went up from 134,609.75 from the last meeting. That from 2 meetings ago was the last number I had. And then as of today, it's at 138,519.81. Almost $4,000.
That's wonderful.
And then the breakdown is in each fund this year.
We've been patient and this has finally started to turn around.
Yeah, the market's crazy right now.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it keeps going.
Not crazy. Hopefully not crazy.
So it looks like we have gains everywhere, correct? No
In-
losses.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah, wonderful. It's been a while since we've seen straight gains.
Right.
So, hey,
Right.
good news, I'll take it.
The only thing that went down was our interest. The only thing that went down was our interest on the checking account went from 17 cents down to 13 cents. Because we've written the $1,000 check for the scholarships.
Mhm.
So the account balance in the North Shore Bank is down $1,000.
What were you gonna spend that 4 cents on?
I could find something good to spend that on, or go towards something. Please.
Hey, Candy.
Yeah.
So would you like some time to meet with Loretta and discuss the role and we can put it on the agenda for next month?
Sure. That'd be fine, and give some continuity to you, not that you got it set up, do it one more time,
Sure.
but I'll go meet with the letter, and I'll talk to you about what you've set up, and
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy. I even changed the formatting, so they're no longer have to cut out and add the piece of paper, so I've changed the margins so it all fits on one page, and I can probably clean it up a little bit more too, but anyway.
Pasted.
Oh, really?
Okay.
So just reach out to me and we can arrange a time for you. I'll have the giant box ready to go because it's full.
No signature things, who's that on school, just signing up here.
don't know.
No.
Loretta, there's no signature page, you just sign the front page,
Anywhere.
initial anywhere, or sign,
There's
there's 2 of them, yeah.
yes, yep, so just sign the cover sheet of both of those, and each invoice is going to need three initials, 3 sets of initials.
All of those
Each invoice.
invoices.
You as chair can delegate that out, as Donna often did. But the chair needs to sign the cover sheets.
Gotcha.
So can I ask, now we have election of treasurer. Where are we standing on that?
Well, we're gonna push that until next month.
So I don't know, do we need a motion to defer it till next month?
Probably because it's on the agenda, otherwise it'd be an open meeting law violation potentially. So defer, do something with it.
And as
It's
information,
something.
you're welcome to table it, you don't need to vote.
Yeah,
Some-
yeah,
that's
what I'm
do
asking.
something, some sort of action.
You're not required to take action.
Well, it'd be smart to say something, meaning table it. meaning-
Yeah, you can just say.
When I said action, I meant, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
say what
I'm
you-
sorry. I didn't use your word, the right, the terminology, you know, the better term,
It's
the
taken
correct.
years of parliamentary practice.
That's why you're
So
here,
does someone
Jackie.
need to make a motion to
No.
table it?
No, she
Or
just.
can Mark just say we're gonna
So you just
table
can
it?
say we're moving
Okay.
to that next month.
Okay.
Stephanie, the first bullet on agenda item E, we're going to table the election of treasurer until next month, until Costa has a chance to discuss more in depth with Loretta.
Okay.
And we've already learned the word table from that.
So I do want to mention, as we go over the policies, if we could go over the changes a little bit slower, just because the edits are going to happen live in the documents rather than me writing them down and taking them back. So I have the documents in front of me that I'll be editing as you propose corrections or additions, revisions, whatever we're looking to do, but we'll start with policy bylaw, policy 4. I don't believe that I'm gonna be looking at it digitally. I didn't need to put it in like 2 years ago. Didn't help me to see that. Okay. I mean, this is all. So did anyone have any additional changes for policy 4?
I have a question.
Okay,
The time of the meetings is stated as 7 o'clock.
What page are you on, Costa? Just
Yeah. Meetings, Article 5.
Article 5.
Yeah, meet on the second Monday each month at 7 p.m. Is there any interest in moving that earlier to 6?
I'm sorry, Article. Oh, on the second page. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. Article 5. I'm sorry, Costa.
So moved.
I have a problem because I teach a class
Okay.
from 6 to 6:30 on Mondays and Wednesdays. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, Tuesdays wouldn't be such a problem, but Mondays,
That's fine.
Could I maybe make a suggestion to, if it would help Costa, because in the summer we meet Tuesdays, right? So maybe if you, I don't know if it has to be consistently the same time.
I think it'd be easier, we remember better. but-
No, just leave it at, at 7
I was
o'clock.
trying to give you stuff
Well, we find, the select board has moved, to 6.
earlier. Yeah.
And, it used to be everybody met at 7:30, then got moved to 7.
Mm.
And if it's feasible for all the trustees to make a 6 o'clock meeting, it's easier on staff.
Right.
And, the library building, because it's more likely they will be done by 8 if we start at 6 than if we start at 7.
We did the same thing on the school committee, we moved to 5:30. We can do anything we want, right? We can make it on Tuesdays, on the second Tuesday of every month, or does
Well,
that
it's
affect?
only in the summertime we do the Tuesdays.
Saying we.
Yeah.
But we could change that.
The library's closed in the summer on Mondays. That's why we meet on the Tuesdays.
right.
Well, I'm saying the rest of the year, does
Tuesdays, year round.
that affect programming?
It will, and this room availability.
So that's, yeah,
So,
maybe we should just leave it the way it is.
For leaving it the way it is, that's my.
Yeah, that's why we're having this, it's open discussion.
Yeah, I'm flexible on the day. Tuesday is fine for me. And I don't teach a class on Tuesday, so I could come earlier on a Tuesday.
But Tuesdays is, problematic, for me, so.
Okay.
Oh,
Just,
all right.
I'll just leave it at Monday at 7, that's fine.
I think that's. Got to get everybody's schedules the same.
The other comment I had was at the very end. That it says Article 10, bylaws will be reviewed annually. But didn't we at the beginning change it to policy?
Yes.
Which is something I would like to comment on. Again, I wasn't here, but. Where are you looking?
Very last page, last.
Article 9,
Yeah.
No, 10.
because it says it also in Article 9.
Oh, it does, you're right.
Yeah.
It's under Article 9 too.
It says it throughout, actually, if you
It
look
does in Article
throughout,
8.
it says it throughout.
so I can do a search of the document and replace the word bylaws or bylaw. I think it's plural in all forms, but bylaws with the word policy.
Can I talk about the word policy? And we can decide what to replace bylaws with? but I don't interrupt. You caught the, if you have another,
Those were the two.
those, okay, great. Good catch. That bylaws one. So again, I wasn't in the room. I had to scoot out. I know you asked me, to think about that word. And so I did, and I did some research on it, and I went to, and I want to hand this out. You guys,
I'm sorry to interrupt you quickly. Didn't we decide that we were gonna mimic the select boards? Wording in that policy?
I think the only thing I indicated was you couldn't use the word bylaw because you're not town meeting, so only town meeting can enact bylaws. Policies is typically the word that we've used.
Yeah.
And then boards that are quasi judicial, such as zoning board and planning board, can set up rules and regulations, but that's because they're permit granting authorities. Policies is typically the word that's used. I just not looked at the thesaurus for
so
policy.
no, I looked at the government, at the Mass government
Yeah,
site.
there could be, if you've come up with something else.
Yes, so they have a whole, a booklet, a whole big download, about a guide for members of public boards and committees. And I read through every page, and
It's a barn burner, isn't it?
that's a love of a pop, yeah, you got it.
Good read.
I like that word, what did you say?
A barn burner.
Our barn burner. Good one. So in every instance, the library is the public organization. That's what, we are a public organization. As you will see on this sheet, in every case, they say that our board has duties and responsibilities or role and responsibilities. So I think we should be in line with what the Mass Gov's document states. And instead of policy, which we are a board that makes policy and advises the director on policy and budget and whatever else. But we are, this is versus the bylaws or the policies of the Clinical Library Board of Trustees. It's really the duties and responsibilities, or the role and responsibilities, or the role. It does get into fiduciary duties, but I felt fiduciary really was limited to our financial responsibility. It didn't really talk about all the other things we do.
So you were looking for the title to be
Role
duties and responsibilities
Mhm.
of the Flint Public Library Board of Trustees.
Yes, or responsibilities of, or duties of,
Responsibilities. Okay, that's on the sheet here.
and it says that we perform, this guideline outlines practices that you effectively perform your role. So they use the word role.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, at the bottom.
Yeah.
Page 6.
So those were some good words that are in this document. So I thought that would be a better choice.
Then policy.
So it would still be policy number 4, but then just change the name to
Well, it would just-
responsibilities of duties.
Yeah, it would just be listed under our policies, because that's where people are going to look.
Right, so it will still, we'll keep it as policy 4,
Right.
and the name will change to responsibilities of the Flint Public.
Or duties and
Library.
responsibilities. There's a
Duties
couple
and
of
Or
options,
role
I
and
guess.
responsibility.
Role and-
Anybody else want to chime in? Susan, you want to chime in on?
Wording.
No. No. Mark, Costa?
I mean, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you call it a policy, or whether you call it duties and responsibilities, or roles and responsibilities.
But not bylaws,
I don't think we can call them bylaws. anymore.
even though it's been that way for 100 years, but.
Yeah, but that was.
But that was 100 years ago.
I think it's been wrong for a good portion of those 100 years.
Maybe it was right then.
So anyway, I will make a motion. How's that?
Sure.
I make a motion that we say policy number 4 is the role and responsibilities of the Flint Public Library Board of Trustees.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. So I think, I'm sorry that we were talking about two different things, Allison. Where I was questioning Jackie on my memory was the duties of the chair.
Oh,
What page are you on, Mark?
I'm sorry, it's sort of the end, the very last bullet, Article 3, number 2, duties of the chair, but then there's nothing there until the top of the second page.
Article, I'm sorry, Article 3,
Yep,
number,
number 2.
okay, duties of the chair, and then it goes to the next page. Yeah.
And I think one of there was some wording that to facilitate at all meetings, and then there was to serve as presiding member, and then then we change it to preside. I think that's where you had said the board, select board states something, and I don't remember if it was presides. It was presides. Okay, so we're
The second page at the top. Article 3, 2A. It's good that everybody is on the same set.
what does it say?
Articles-
Can you just point out to me
Yeah.
where you should? Okay,
so the.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, I'm sorry, at the very end of this page, says duties of the chair,
yes.
and then it begins there.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay, so,
But it presides is the way that Jackie had suggested, so on the. Recant all of the.
well, I think if you, you know, what did I see here? Oh, yeah, I thought I had seen preside at all meetings, right? Is that what you changed it to? Presides at all meetings. Yeah, I think that's great. I like that.
And it's in line with the select board. So
Yeah, no, but it's a good word. Yeah. I like it. Chair presides at all. Is there any other place in this document that we need to change that to presides?
I didn't see anything, but I
So do we have to do the motion again since there was another?
We can keep making them.
And at the end,
Yeah.
okay, that's a good idea. I think we thought it was wrapped up and Mark had another.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that it had been changed since the last meeting.
No, no, it wasn't.
I couldn't remember what the original conversation.
Facilitate.
Yep.
As Robert's rules.
So any other changes to policy 4?
No.
Okay, then.
So you'll correct the word bylaws.
So anywhere the word bylaws appears in the policy, it will be changed to policy.
No, to role and responsibilities. It's no longer a bylaw or a policy. It's now a
So-
role and
Well,
responsibility.
so if you look at the headings, policy number 4, are we taking that out too? And we're taking it off the policy page?
No, you're gonna keep the policy 4 up in the corner.
So it's still a policy,
We all said.
Well, the
policy.
bylaws were a policy, so.
You have to put it,
right, so that's not gonna, is that gonna make sense?
No, I.
or remove the word policy then for.
The title is roles
And responsibilities, yes.
But this is policy number 4,
Yeah.
so when we are talking about the document, it's a policy.
Policy.
You don't have to read the whole.
No, because we're not gonna be annually reviewing your roles and responsibility, your role and
This,
responsibilities.
that policy.
We're reviewing the policy.
She said sign a number. to
Right,
it.
so anything, wherever the word bylaws appears, it will be changed to policy.
Plural. Policies. Well, it's a policy, so it's this policy, right?
That's semantics, correct, semantics,
This is a policy,
yes,
so.
full of policies. It's a policy full of policies, so.
This is getting a little deep. I
Correct,
think.
correct. So my recommendation, and this is obviously up to the board, would be to remove bylaws and replace it with policy. So when it says this policy will be amended at regular meeting, blah, 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 this policy will be reviewed annually.
But the title, we're gonna put as the roles and responsibilities at the top.
Correct, roles and
But the title.
responsibilities of the Flint Public Library Board of Trustees.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing it in.
Can we say? Policy number 4?
That's still gonna be there at the
Yeah.
top corner.
Policy number 4. Okay,
It's gonna be at the top right hand corner.
Yes.
I make a motion that we accept this.
Yeah, but Costa did make a motion.
I'll second it.
So who made the first? It was Costa
I
making
made
the.
it first and
Who
Costa
was
seconded it.
Well, that was to change the title, but not to
Yeah.
approve all
That's
of
true.
the changes.
Yeah.
Susan made it, you seconded it.
I'll second it then. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So
that's
We
done.
have a full board present, so once these changes are made, they will go live on the website.
Great, thank
Okay.
you.
Beautiful.
Done.
That was painless, practically painless.
It is.
Well, hey, wait a minute, enough hours that you and I put into it before we even
It's true.
printed this out.
It's also a major.
Fifth and
major
sixth
change.
iterations.
Yes.
It's a major change to this policy
No,
that has been
I-
in place for so many years. So I
Proud
think
of
it
your progress.
warranted a little time.
The behind the scenes work is worth noting.
Policy 18. So this one, we have, Allison and I spent a lot of time on. There are some sections that we would like additional input on some of the wording. So we can look at the first section, A, which is a fully new section, registration for Middleton residents. So people have the option of getting a 3-year card, a temporary 30-day card, and a digital e-card. So these are the two card, the option 2 and option 3 are fairly new. The 3-year card is your traditional physical card that you get when you come to the library and register. So there's, discussion on whether we leave the word or have the word physical in there or just take it out so that it's a 3-year library card. And then we have a temporary card, take the word physical out, and then digital is an electronic card. And it's just assumed that a card is a physical item and an e-card is an electronic digital item. Does that make sense?
I like,
Okay,
I like the
so,
differentiation, but what were you gonna say?
Just leave the word physical in there.
okay, so
It doesn't. It said physical instead of, okay, if it doesn't say electronic, then it must be physical. You just, I think it's easier to understand by saying it right up front instead of having somebody deduce it that it's physical because it's not electronic.
right,
Agree.
I just need to ask Loretta
Yeah.
something.
yes.
Oh, we agree with this. And then let's see, this, and we're here. We took out clear the columns, we just said, oh, call the library, and it's 1, 2, 3, right up front. One's never done.
This is money,
None.
Not be any confusion there. I don't live at Lake Street, but
See, using, see, this part, using on the application, we had completely put this in. So
hardly ever.
What's the version I emailed out? That has all of this.
this,
Well, I think we have way too many policies. No other library in the state has this many. Even the Boston Republic has a dozen. It's overkill.
I'm sorry to interrupt the meeting, but I have a feeling that.
No, this is the changed one. Apply over the phone or visit the website.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess I didn't. Thirty-day call?
Yeah.
If there's too much confusion, maybe we should table that one. I mean, I don't want to put a policy in place if there's confusion about edits and things. It kind of gets a lot when you keep making edits sometimes.
Oh, I'm just very confused because this is not at all what I had and what we worked on.
Yeah, this is the updated one that I emailed to you.
Yeah.
Back on July 3rd.
Person may not know, Loretta and Allison work on policies outside of the meeting to save us a lot of time, because it's a lot to change things live with so many people, so just if you don't know that. I don't think you would know that, but that is what they do ahead of our meetings, Costa. Most times it's quick, like a couple edits,
Yeah.
but that lore has been around so long, you can change that, and was kind of a big deal. Pretty much the others go pretty quickly.
There's been so many versions of it
Much.
that that's the only one.
Okay, yeah, we just went back and forth so many times that the final version that I have is not exactly what I'm looking at. So I just wanted to verify that we didn't get it wrong, which we have done in the past, so.
It happens.
Yeah. Maybe you suggested, tabling it, maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think you should table it because I think it's, because I had confusion with all the different edits, it's almost hard to see what is present, what was, I feel like there's just a lot of
Which
confusion.
I think is what I'm having trouble with. Can
we table it the next meeting?
Can we table it till the next meeting and
Sure.
Loretta and I will just look at it one more time?
Thank you.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Great, thank you.
If you think spending a few more minutes making sure you're in the right place, I mean.
No,
The
they're gonna
version
take a
sheet
lot
we're working
longer.
off of is very different from the one everyone's looking at right now.
I think that would take way too long, for what I could just hear.
That's fine.
If I would respectfully, so we table it.
Fine with me.
So we can come back.
Tabling policy.
Nice work.
Role and responsibilities and duties and responsibilities discussion on.
No,
policy.
No, wrong one. We did the wrong one. Oh, we did the wrong one, Mark. 18, number 18.
number
We're
18.
tabling number 18, not that roles and
That's
responsibilities.
just messing around.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Don't mess with us. Policy 18, we are tabling. Simple.
Yes.
And
I
give
agree.
Loretta and I a chance to just read through one more time with both of us looking at the same version.
Great, love it. We'll get it, we'll put it to bed next meeting.
Okay.
Next item is the performance evaluation of the library director's goals.
Yeah, I wrote.
Please do, you need permission, you're welcome.
I'm only a guest here. This is the library board of trustees, so I did borrow my books before I came. To take advantage of the services offered. So. I'm gonna just reorient us all a little bit because it's been a while since we've been together back in June. And I know you have a new member in Mr. Pentakis. And actually, he was supposed to be having a double evaluation tonight, but we had to postpone because we did not have a complete body. But so the document that I sent to you on June 28th is the composite draft. I did not receive any feedback from anyone about any of it in advance of this meeting, so we're gonna work on it together. I'm hopefully gonna do it in a way that's methodical and incorporates all of your feedback. One item that I did talk a little bit about, at the last meeting, I believe is that we have reduced the number of strengths and goals and developmental objectives. We were doing 5 before, and that's really, a little unwieldy, so we've tried to really, bring it down to 3 to 4 for each department head, because then. Yeah, I'll send it to you right now. Please pardon me for 1 second.
The request to be pardoned is granted.
Does anyone else
Yes, but
like
I
it
don't have
bring forward into the top of, yes,
I would like a fresh copy, but unfortunately I don't have a computer with me. It's over there.
well, I will be reading aloud,
This is page 6 you're looking at.
yes,
Can I scooch over and?
oh, please do.
So you don't have it either?
I could, yeah,
No, I was gonna.
Oh, gee,
Loretta,
okay.
just a clarification. 3 initials on every invoice and 1 signature, or 3 signatures and 1 initial on every page?
3 initials on each invoice. The cover sheet gets 1 signature from the chair.
Can I ask why? Because like the town warrant just gets signed on.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't have to do that,
it's never been clear to me why you've done so many more.
fantastic, then it's
Never been well explained to me, and I just don't question.
great.
So there's no.
You need 2
So,
signatures, 2 designees with a 5-member board from,
So we did
Maybe
3.
you
so we
need,
had a majority
maybe
of
you
the
need a
board.
quorum.
I mean, the thing is, you need a quorum. If you don't, when you're an elected body, you need a quorum unless you intentionally designate, so like we,
Which has never
Assignee.
correct, so like, for example, like every year I send an email to our finance director saying that like Costa and Rick at this time are the people. Are coming in to sign the warrant in the summer when we're off cycle, so if that's something this body wants to do, that's like a very normal thing to do.
Us normal, Jackie? Shocking.
But I think, generally speaking, if we're all here and can sign, we have 2 or 3 signatures, I thought it was 3, but regardless, and not have to initial every.
It's
invoice.
three to sign, but you only have to sign the cover sheet. The initialing invoices is not anything I'm aware of.
Okay, well, I initialed them anyway, so I.
You're over here, it's really what it is.
That's because when you printed it.
You know what, we can send, Sarah has the guidance from the Mass General Law for public bodies, we can circulate that.
Perfect.
Need another signature and we're good.
So I'm on,
I got you.
okay, I'm on page 6 of the evaluation, I'm looking at the goals. So I did work to try to incorporate all of the feedback I got from all of you for the goals into 3 that kind of made sense categorically. So goal number 1 was additional training on management and library services. Number 2, complete 5-year strategic plan, work on,
No, I'll do this.
I'm sorry,
we're on
I'm
page
sorry.
6.
We're on page 3. Oh, you're reading number 5 at the top. It says strengths, additional.
No, I'm sorry, I meant on page 6 and item 6.
Okay.
Goals.
I thought you were going one by, okay.
No, I apologize. We did
Okay.
strengths last time. I didn't feel that we needed to
Okay.
repeat them. That's
Sure.
Okay.
That's fine.
Not that Loretta doesn't have those strengths, but just.
I just didn't know why, I thought you were starting this, or just.
Since I missed it last time, I may have questions that take us back a bit.
Sure thing. Do you have any now, or would you
So
like?
we're just looking at goals.
We're just doing the goal, the updated goal setting.
The goals.
And we'll
Okay.
do goals and then we'll do developmental objectives.
Okay.
So goal 1, additional training on management and library services. And as you might remember, the developmental objectives are what we do to like plan to achieve the goals. Number 2, complete 5-year strategic plan, work on plan for implementation and begin year 1 of implementation. I know your strategic plan is due to the state this coming October, so we're trying to show like the plan will be submitted during this fiscal year, but it'll also start to be implemented, so I tried to encompass everyone's feedback about the strategic plan into one bullet. Because we do kind of straddle the year with when it gets submitted versus when implementation begins, because it's October 1st, correct?
It's due by October.
Yes, so you'll be implementing soon thereafter. And then the third one was continue to develop professional community relationships with patrons, public trustees, town administration, and more through outreach programs. Again, trying to, fit all of your feedback into a concise goal. In terms of developmental objectives, one that was really repetitive from everyone was that folks wanted to see Loretta continue to attend conferences and regional meetings. So that's, I think, remains unless hearing no objection to that as a developmental objective.
Can I just ask you, why do you have, not just a big deal, but you have, under goals, 2, bolded the complete, is there a reason for it?
No,
Standing out
there's
for any
not, I'm
reason?
sorry.
No, it's not a big deal, I
Just,
just didn't know if there's a reason that
no,
you're
I
thinking
just-
that something more prominent. for a
No.
reason. Okay,
I think I just was working on that one longer because I was trying to monster mash several different people's words into that one goal.
okay,
So I
that's
think-
fine,
And
Jen.
I think too that I had asked if that could be bumped up to number 1.
Oh, maybe, is that what you were thinking?
Oh,
So
Is that why it was bolded, you were thinking?
possibly, I don't know.
would that be amenable to everyone that that's for Loretta's number 1 goal for the year? Okay, okay, well, we don't have to rank them, there's no,
But there's no, why did
This
you
is
want it first, Loretta, or does it really mean that it's first? Or
they're just 3 goals, they're just
Yeah,
in the
it's
order I
they're
typed
not,
them.
yeah, they're not.
They're not based on a timeline, but
Fine.
obviously you said the
Fine.
strategic.
They're
one's
actually
coming up.
alphabetical.
They're
I didn't-
alphabetical?
There you go.
They are.
I didn't plan for that, but they're alphabetical, so that's what they are,
Oh, maybe that's what your computer did.
what we did.
But the strategic plan does come up by October, you have to do it. Is that why you were thinking to put it there? first?
Well, just because I think that is very instrumental to the next year and 5 years. So,
Oh,
if we were prioritizing, I thought goal number 1 should be complete 5-year strategic.
I've not done that with any other department
Then
that we've done that
that's
with, was not the intention.
then we'll leave it the way it is, I guess.
So we feel good about the 3 goals.
Yep, sure.
Okay? I think one, I heard some good agreement on for the developmental objectives, 7.1, continue to attend conferences and regional meetings, I think that stands. Number 2, continue mentorship by other directors in management, including delegation to staff when appropriate. That is a continue from a prior year. And number 3, develop collections, specifically books, that is an additional carry forward from a prior year that I still saw strong support for. And then number 4, emphasis, so this is when I wordsmithed a little, to try to encapsulate a number of folks' feedback, emphasize and continue to build culture of customer service at the Flint.
So probably a lot of people have talked about customer service and you just melded some additional.
Yeah, I think the customer service, like how people are greeted when they come in the door, the types of like support, like I actually was lucky enough tonight to witness someone helping someone trying to make photocopy, and there was an issue with it, and I saw really great interaction. So you know, just general like demeanor, customer service mentality of, you know, if you're on the phone with another member of staff, you know, putting the, you know, saying, let me call you back, please, and like dealing with the patron in front of you, that type of cultural habit building. We also, I will add that from a wider HR perspective, townwide, we're doing some customer service trainings. We've been doing several from Maya as well as from other providers about how to continue to work with the public. It's been a challenging couple of years in terms of working with the public. And I think, you know, many people do not want to come into public service the way they might have 10 to 25 years ago. There's not a lot of young people entering municipal government widely, and then more narrowly the library service. So I think that's what we're here for. We're here for the public. We're here to be a customer service entity. So that was something that was threaded throughout many different trustees' feedback.
I probably gave feedback on exactly this because I agree strongly that one of Loretta's developmental objectives should be to build extreme, what I call extreme customer service. A whole attitude and mentality of the Flint to service our public, to just bend over backwards to give our public, you know, everything we can and make this library not only welcoming, but a destination. And so my question is the term build. I think we need something stronger than build, or something more, or something broader than build.
I think I chose build, not to like try to wordsmith myself from a couple months ago. I think I chose build because no matter where you start something, you're continuing to build on it. So whether you're starting from scratch or continuing, whether it's an addition, renovation, or a new construction, you're still building. And I think from my perspective, on the management side, I always want department heads to build the culture of customer service because it comes in from the beginning when you're first training a new employee. Like that's a very ground up activity for me, which is why I think building made sense. Because we want, you know, we do customer service training townwide from the very frontline staff all the way up to the department heads and Justin and myself. He and I very much like that's an important cultural touchstone for us as managers as well. So for me, that's where build came from. I don't know if that eases your concern.
It show, I mean, I understand just exactly what you're saying. I just feel that it doesn't really express at least what my feeling was. I wanted not just to build upon what's already been accomplished here, but I wanted,
Are you looking for an action?
I want Loretta to take a leadership role and a mentorship role and a developmental role in creating this, not just building it, but taking it and really role modeling it, really showing that she wants her staff to smile at everyone who walks in the door too. You have your first line of interaction when you walk in the library with the children's staff. They're often busy at their desks and those doors and the glass are closed and there's no interaction with people walking into the library. They just walk in and gotta find the door to go up and see if these doors are open or closed, and I really want more of a, I wanna phrase it in a way that we want every single staff member to be that spokesperson and be that representative, to our patrons.
You know, I'm a little bit, you know, I feel that the staff here at the library is following Loretta's role, where I have never been felt like they didn't pay attention to me, that they weren't welcoming, that there wasn't a smile, that they bent out of, you know, bent over backwards. And I, you know, I come in and I, you know, get a lot of, you know, a lot of books, and I'm also listening and hearing, and I find that, you know, you can build on it, but there, it's already there. A lot
I
of
think
the,
This is more, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't think it's saying that they're not doing that kind of stuff. So
I
this
mean-
is about how to goals and development, how to do more things.
Right.
Because you're always looking to grow and.
but, you know, there's only so much.
Well, new things come,
Yeah.
come on.
Having 30+ years of library experience, I can tell you that Loretta has gotten we have a whole bunch of new staff people, and they're all really coming along, and they're all really beginning to get that customer service perspective. And so building on it is a great idea. I just want to see it, a word in there that expresses to Loretta, like I'm saying to you now, that I just want to see it flourish,
Well, come up with a word. Nick.
blossom.
Give us a word, Allison.
Let me try to gather this. So how about emphasizing to build a culture of customer service at the Flint with a particular ethos of
Extreme
modeling that behavior.
modeling
for the
extreme
staff.
customer service.
I'm not gonna use the word extreme,
Okay.
because we also wanna think buildings that are sustainable, you know.
Yeah.
Staff
I
have
just see it as
boundaries,
a
they're 40-hour
terminology.
week employees, I think sustainable building is good, if it's extreme,
Right.
no one's ever gonna meet that.
That's a coined term, it could go.
No, yeah, no, it's like it's a shtick.
Yeah,
But I think, like, for me, it's emphasize and continue to build a sustainable culture of customer service with like a face forward, a frontline service priority.
okay,
Good job.
okay, I like that frontline service.
With frontline. You want me to reread that, though? Oh,
Well, I think you've got the language, and I liked that.
I'd like to be careful that we're not implying that that's not already being done. I think that's.
No one's saying
You
that.
know, it's under objectives,
It's under
developmental,
objectives
it's a
and
developmental.
that's why I added and
Improvement doesn't mean criticism. Improvement means we all improve in our lives and our jobs.
Yeah.
And I think,
Everything's not negative.
I'll be honest with you, this is something that is not unique to the Flint. This is a type of goal that we have in many departments, including
Yeah.
the department I work in.
Right.
As the person that is currently the frontline welcome wagon, because we're down in admin, like this is, we all are trying to do better at this, and this is actually a training that we offer to a lot of our staff on a really regular basis, townwide.
I mean, I know, and this
If that's helpful.
is a little bit of an aside, and I know we have select board members and staffing and money and all that, but quite frankly, with the way our library was built and the way that foyer is confusing, I would love to see a greeter.
I don't think you have staff for it.
No, that's what I'm saying. I understand that this is but this is what my intention is, for us to develop, for our objective, for a developmental objective, to actually have someone there saying, hi, welcome to our life. Can I help you? The children's room is here. Yes, the meeting is going on there.
It's difficult because the way everybody comes in the back door, so to
Well,
speak.
in that one
That's why
big
a library
useless
set up
lobby
that.
that we have. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's how it is.
So can I ask a follow-up question to that? Because I'm just like trying to like dig
You
into
forget that
a
TV.
wide developmental objective. It sounds like something you'd like to see as a sub part priority of this developmental objective is maybe a volunteer, like like, and I don't mean to say this with any connotation to it, but essentially like a Walmart greeter at the door. Like you're looking for someone who's a friendly, smiling face at the door that can say, oh, you wanna go to children's, here it is. Like you're looking for
More than
a
that, though.
wayfinder.
No, it isn't just
A-
it's more than that, because if the person says, I'm overdue on my book, I want them to be able to speak to, or if they say, I'm looking for the fiction, I want them to be able to know the collection and be able to say to them, I think if
That's
I.
another staff member.
That's right, well, absolutely.
So I
Which
think that's a bigger.
You can
picture. Yeah,
dream.
it's a bigger conversation for budget time.
is how I started this sentence, saying, I get it, but that's what I want this objective to incorporate, that sense of, we want to be the welcoming. We want, yeah.
Yeah, it is welcoming, and unless it's the first time you're coming into the library,
People don't.
you know where you're going.
Oh,
Have you, my experience shows me that this is one area that we've done a lot of improvement on, and we've really done great and can do better, and this is one way I can see that we can do better.
I mean, Loretta improved the whole front entrance there last year, was it Loretta, or the year before? Year before, and that made an improvement, just the way you come in.
And when you get
talked about
upstairs,
Signage for the stairwell.
So, well,
Talked
I
about
was
that.
working with Masco seniors
Oh,
as their project they were gonna make, and
Yeah.
then they graduated
Oh,
before they finished.
but that's
Yeah,
something to
so
continue.
It'll continue on in
Okay,
the school
because
year.
that's
so,
important,
right.
because a lot of people, when they come in up here, they're like, how do you get in this building, where do you go? And I'm like, up that stairwell, we've talked about it, I don't know if you've heard before us, and
Right.
Loretta is working on that, to have
on
some
signage
there.
stuff, which is phenomenal,
That
but
can
for
help.
example, when you do find your way up to the top of the stairs, the staff
Is there.
is there, and they're now. You know, over the last 3 years that I've been a trustee, they've matured greatly, and under your training, they've begun to really be customer service oriented. I just would like to see that expanded. Because our library is such a.
Well, can we get to a
Yeah, I was gonna
sentence?
say, let's.
Can we get to
So
a
I like,
sentence?
I like Jackie's sentence.
So I think the sentence I have in front of me right now is number 4, emphasize and continue to build a sustainable culture of customer service at the Flint with a frontline service priority.
I like it. I think that really gives it a little more understanding, oomph.
Yeah.
Oomph.
Almost the last word I have available to me at this point.
Thank you, Jackie.
Anytime, that's like all I got, like, cause every time she kept doing, it, I go oomph, the word you'll look for is oomph.
Yeah, very good.
Is it fair to say we're agreeable to the 4 goals as it stands?
The 4 objectives.
I'm sorry, yes, thank you. The 3 goals and the 4 developmental objectives. Recognizing that there's a wide variety of tasks that encapsulate those goals to like achieve them. We don't want to list out just the tasks. We want to keep it high level. The way I like to talk about it when I'm working with a department head who's setting goals for an employee for the first time is to think about, as a department head, you have your things that you do, you have your regular working procedures, you have your things that have to get done every 2 weeks, like payroll, you have things, incidents with the building, with the facility that come up. And putting all that aside, when you, in the abundance of that half hour you have left after all of your day-to-day stuff is complete, how do you prioritize your time? And that's where the goals and the developmental objectives, having 3 or 4 for the year, that's where, like, when you do have time left over, that's where you're gonna be giving that time. And you also have it built into your structure of like what trainings you're offering and what you're communicating to your staff, but it's, there's certain things that have to get done with every function, and what are you doing when the day-to-day is done? And how are
I
you
should sign.
structuring the day-to-day
Okay.
to get to the
You don't
goal?
have to initially,
One of the steps,
I already did.
every single
I
page.
initialed every
Well, you
single
handed,
page.
you brought it over to us.
Just for signature on the front page, sorry, Jackie.
Oh,
The front page of each one of those needs another signature.
Oh, you didn't say what you needed, okay, I thought you wanted.
Yeah, so you guys.
Oh, each of,
I initialed every single page.
yeah, so did we say,
We don't
only
need
you
to
need to
initial,
do the
just
first
sign
page.
it. Yeah,
No, only you need to do the first page.
no, we need multiple signatures on the front page.
Please sign the first
Costa says
page.
no.
Yeah,
Please just sign it.
I'm just equating it to the town warrant, where when it is a warrant and a select board meeting,
Mhm.
they bring the packet,
Yep,
we just sign, we all sign
Front page.
the front page.
that's it.
And that's it.
And
I
that's
like
it.
that idea.
Okay,
On the school committee, we had a signature page attached to that front page.
Okay.
And it was, and there was a line for each of us, and I believe we only needed 3.
The only reason I think that you're probably doing 3 instead of designating 2 people is there may be some kind of rule with one of your Fidelity accounts that requires a majority, and that's something that maybe Loretta and Costa can.
So Donna had always said to us, only the chair needed to sign the first 2, but then these individual pages were the ones that needed the 3.
New information has come to light.
So this is new information.
Saving time.
So I put my sign,
I like that.
and if it's wrong, we'll do it again.
We'll get a full briefing for you from the finance director. of what-
Give me a call and I'll come in.
We
and
don't need a
sign.
full briefing, Jackie.
Like, I think you're misunderstanding. A full briefing from Sarah will be 2 bullets.
Okay, thanks.
But I would like to say, when, on goals, I noticed what's missing for me is, we say nothing like we did last year, and I think it's still very important to seek grant opportunities to support library needs and programming. So grants and programming are still some things I think that are a high goal for Loretta.
So they can still be a high goal, but we wanna try to like really hone in on the highest level goals. To me, part of doing things like going to conferences, developing a collection, grants are a part of that. I would say for me, like grants are an expectation that every department head's applying for. There's very few departments that don't have the grants that are eligible. I don't tend to call it out unless someone is new to grant writing and I want them to like get some training on how to do that. I don't think you need to call it out for the expectation of grant writing to be there. Is all I'm saying.
Could I ask that, all right, it says develop collection and specifically books. Now, can it be a couple times a year, maybe Loretta could address the goals of what she's doing to meet the goals? So that, I go in there and there's books always, there's always new books. So how can I evaluate her?
So you'd like to see a biannual,
Like,
update?
just periodically an update that, I've attended these conferences and regional meetings and this is.
Yeah, just do that.
Yeah, but like, even like the books, but not for the
And we
books.
see the collection development statistics.
Circulation.
But Sue's right, Loretta does tell us about events and things, but
Right,
not like maybe
like,
something that's come up different than.
like.
So the specifically books, that goal, that's.
That
really-
confuses me, really. I would not have.
I have
expected
to-
I mean, truthfully, I'm just consolidating 5 people's feedback.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's
People,
what I'm saying.
people called out books specifically enough times that I felt drawn to.
Because the
speak to
library
it.
is so much more, it's information now.
It is, which is
so
why
much
it's so
more.
confusing that multiple people wrote, like, not collection development, but like book collection development. So I'm doing what I can
Right.
respectfully. I think
mean,
I'd be happy to change it to continue to develop collection and associated programming. Like, that felt more of what the vibe
I like
was
that.
last year, but it didn't get reflected in what was written to me.
I
That
like
doesn't
that
mean
better.
we can't change.
It doesn't mean that,
Could
so.
you say that again?
Develop library collections and associated programming.
Yes, I like that.
Great. Is that cool with this corner of the room? The blue
Those are
bolo
two
corner,
very different
We got the
things lumped into one.
I know they are,
Okay. That's
because we
essentially four
separated the
goals,
jobs.
but that's essentially
I know.
4 goals.
We'll
you do
develop
that.
collections,
Correct.
develop
But-
programming, yeah.
At the same time, if there's a need to change because outreach needs to be increased and we're cutting back on the number of programs we have, because we have a limited number of staff, that's gonna reflect poorly at the end, because that goal was not achieved.
No, because
Just
you would
fully
say,
disclosed.
that got pulled back for the reason that I had to do the outreach. You would just inform the board.
It's
There'd be no criticism if people are informed, right?
It's
I
also,
hope not.
it's also an
No, I
important
don't
goal,
think so.
Loretta, in my mind, because we've really focused on having financial support from both the Friends and the town to support programming in particular. That's one of our big goals. So I like to see it in here.
But the programming is only based on, the staffing that you have.
Well, I have to say that this past year, the improvement in programming has been exponential. You've really taken it to the next level. Your staff has taken it to the
Can I
next
pause
level.
you for a second in an effort to craft this goal that is amenable to everyone? Be more specific with me of what improved. Did the volume improve? Did the quality improve? Did both improve? That's- That's, I need you to put a pin in that. for me.
I believe the volume improved, but that's not what I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to the quality. And I think despite that we had a problem, we had to cancel one of our best idea programs ever, was it the Taylor Swift program?
Yeah, the person who was registered for that is still very upset that it got canceled and have spoken with team
Yeah.
services.
Is that you?
It was 100%.
Was that you, Jackie?
It was 100%. I had the outfit and everything. I was gonna be here. I support the library when Taylor Swift isn't on the table
So,
and every other time.
but nevertheless, that was such an exciting,
I was
program.
deeply excited.
and new or exciting, and I want, when we get to programming, I have more to say, but that's why I like to see it, and I think the way you've reworded it for develop library collections, I'd like to give Loretta the leeway to admit that as an information center, our digital collections are important as well, and as well as our hard.
So that's, I think. It is very subjective, you know, and. One, to say the quality of the programs, that is very subjective. So, you know, I think where, like, you know, just using you, Allison, I'm not picking on you, but Allison has come to this board saying, I want more tween programs, more, like, that is very, very specific.
And you had a lot.
Right,
Well, it's hard to control what the youths are gonna do.
it's true, but also too, if, you know, the programs that we offer a variety, and that's information, you know, we know what does well, we know what didn't see strong numbers for attendance and registration, and then we pivot accordingly. Like that Taylor Swift program, like, we didn't see the registrations. So that's why it was canceled. And then that's also too, it was, look at
it was a
everything.
holiday.
There was a lot going on.
It was the holidays.
So,
But that doesn't mean that we can't admit we did something that could have been done better and we hadn't thought through this angle of it. And so next time we do this kind of program, we will take all that into consideration.
And
but also too, you know,
job with
we
that.
have,
Incredible.
you know, Middleton's a little unique. We see a lot of our physical books circulate, whereas other libraries are seeing their digital resources use of their digital resources skyrocket.
Mhm.
Middleton people come in and they prefer to borrow books, so that makes sense. We were seeing our DVD circulations
Oh,
kind of dwindling for a while.
absolutely.
That's what we thought.
Yeah.
But now they're spiking. Because streaming services are getting more expensive and they are cutting their content. So
And-
we're pivoting again.
Right, so
and
that's
we're
why I
actually
don't.
Building our DVD collection. So I don't think I want to see it. I guess my point is, there are some goals that need to be specific in
Yeah.
order to see whether they're achieved or not.
Mhm.
But there are others where I need the flexibility in there to make
Well, what would you
decisions.
suggest, given that we're saying that specifically books is too weak? Do you
So
have
I
something
think
in
getting
mind for
rid of the
that?
To
specialty
me,
books.
I would say, don't do specifics, say continue or develop the collection. and
Collections.
Collection, well, yeah, library collection or collections, and programming to meet the needs of the community, Middleton community, I would say community, because we
Yeah.
service a lot of towns.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Um,
idea too.
And then that way we can, it'll be tailored to the information that we have coming in.
Right. I mean, you obviously can't continue to just say, well, I'm gonna spend $10,000 on DVDs, whether people come in and check them out or not. I mean, that's just
No, we don't have a
silly.
budget for that. We
Yeah.
are constantly assessing.
But you
that
wouldn't
stuff.
even wanna waste your money on that if nobody's doing it. But then if people, you know, I don't know, like, video, you had to stop buying videos. You know, no, that's not, that to me, nobody watches
So
videos,
maybe Jackie.
but we had
so
to
we
make a
can
decision
move
as far
along,
as.
Allison,
video.
maybe.
I'm
Just-
sorry.
No, I know you have a passion for it. Sorry, Mark, I'm jumping in for you,
I
Mark.
appreciate it.
I'm jumping in.
Agenda to,
Just stepped on your toes, sir.
You didn't hurt.
Oh, I won't hurt you, don't worry. I'll get you though.
Would you like me to
Um,
read the redraft?
yes.
Maria?
Yes. Please.
Develop library collections and programming to meet the changing needs of the community.
What do you think?
You like
That works.
That works.
Yeah, good, I'm glad, thank you.
I would take out changing, but
Good myself.
that's just me. I don't think it
So
needs
just
that.
the needs.
Grades,
There you go.
deleted it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Super quick.
Yep.
Okay,
I think that makes a lot more sense, and I'm glad you brought that up, Jackie, that you thought that you should have, we would have
it
seen.
was, struck me odd.
I just think people just write books, we just.
I think maybe that day you
And you
wanted a
just-
book and you couldn't get it. I don't know what
Maybe,
people do.
Jackie, maybe.
I try not to reason why, I just try to composite. So we have 3 goals, we have 4 developmental objectives. Loretta, you've had a chance to weigh in. Any other notes before we ask the board to finalize them?
So I do have comments on the review, if that's okay.
Yes, can we vote on the goals and
Yeah,
development, unless there's something that will materially change, just so.
Do you prefer to read those before we?
No,
Vote on
no,
it?
I'm in agreement on the goals.
The goals and no
And
development,
the
you're not looking for that to change.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the goals as written.
As with the.
As amended.
As amended. As edited.
As amended.
I make motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And so Loretta, for the process on that, can you turn that into me and I will distribute it and then we'll go through what the process looks like of how, cause we. It comes to me first and then we'll distribute.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just sending this out to all of you now with a fresh copy. If you see a typo or something, please do let me know. But then I will send this to Loretta so that as you all come in, you can sign up on it. Thank you for that.
You want us, I'm sorry, Jackie wants to come to your office to sign that?
I was gonna leave it here.
Okay, we can
For
sign it
you to
tonight.
sign whenever you're popping in.
Oh, here up to,
So
up
she's
to
gotta be
Loretta?
printed out.
Yeah, cause the version I
Okay.
have is now changed. But I'm gonna send it to you all digitally right now, so you have it.
Mhm.
And
And
then
then we
I'll
come in,
leave a copy, and then Loretta will hopefully be happy
Okay.
to leave a copy here for you all to come in and sign.
all right, thank you,
It'll be in an envelope
upstairs.
on the hold folder, the hold folder, on the hold shelf. So when you come in, just say, here as a trustee to sign,
Okay,
and it will be.
I'm sure we did it before, just didn't remember.
Before we move on to the, well, treasurer's report, I guess I read everything already. Before we move to the director's report, if I can have a moment to share a nice thank you note from our Masco scholarship recipient. And I'll let you pass that around the room, or when you finish, I'll pass it for you. And then I think one of the reasons I thought this would be a good idea to move into this room was for space. I felt like upstairs we were kind of jam-packed, but also our guests were all sort of in the distance. And I know in other boards, they have plaques to determine who is each person is. But
Oh, we did get.
yeah,
I have you listen.
nice. Love those.
You want that?
Well, so what I was gonna ask is, if the Friends of the Flint, the reason I'm asking, I'm sorry, let me explain while I'm asking.
Yeah.
I see the Friends of the Flint just gave us $36,000 and she's relegated to the back here. Can we invite is there any reason we can't have other people that are attending our meeting at the table? And if we have our own plaques, then anybody who doesn't know who they are, they're at
No, the
table.
board sits at the table.
Only the
That's
board
all
sits at
boards
the
do
table.
that.
Robert's rules, which this town adheres to.
The select board doesn't have public sitting at the table, no ZBA, nobody, planning board, you don't go into meetings that way and have people sitting at the table.
It's not
That's a
all,
little nutty,
it's not all important, like the FinCom.
but that's at a small group, but you would never, Costa at the select board, have people sitting at the table. I think it gets pretty dicey when, because it gives a sense
Well,
that you can speak out, and you're not, you
It's-
can't,
you know,
public comment,
yes,
no
the
public comment.
members of the public, no. But if, when
Members of the public, yeah.
Non-board members.
there are times when, when a representative of another board is invited to sit at the table.
Mhm.
Department heads are invited to sit at the table when they're making presentations. So if you have sort of and someone that is attending your meeting in an official capacity,
Such as Jackie, for example.
such as Annie, who is attend as the president of the Friends.
And appoint a liaison.
Then, to me, it's would be perfectly acceptable for her to be sitting at the table. Having somebody that just comes in because it's an open meeting and wants to see, follow it, no, that person should sit at the table. To me, it's, there's distinctions between, the roles people play, so it's not necessarily just the trustees or just the select board.
Does the select board have other people sit at the table with them? Because I've
Yes.
never seen that.
Department heads,
I believe they sit in the audience and stand at the podium when they need to
they're
speak.
invited to come to the table. A lot of them just choose to stay there. When, we have discussion, like the chairs of the, FinCom, they're invited to sit at the table. Sometimes they choose to do so, sometimes they choose
Will a
not.
library board person be invited to sit at the table at a select board meeting?
If you're there for a discussion on a library issue, yes.
Like a joint meeting we had.
No, I'm not, I don't even mean a joint meeting, I'm just saying.
I'm not saying joint meeting either, but if there's an agenda item that pertains to the library and the library trustee is gonna be part of that discussion, then yes, they'll be invited to sit at the table.
I think it is,
I've never seen that.
but again, it doesn't matter if we've ever seen it. This is a library, everyone's welcome. To me, it feels exclusionary.
It's not exclusionary by
But
any
also-
means. I think it causes a lot of chaos and it has in the
It
past.
has in the past.
And not in a good way.
When-
It hasn't at our meetings.
If I may chime in, I'm the library director. I'm not a board of trustee member. I come invited to your meetings to present a report.
Yes,
So-
but you're,
But the library is three branches, so to
Mhm.
speak, three arms. We have the library and the staff, I'll say the staff. We have the board of trustees, the governing body, and then we have the Friends Board or the Friends Committee that fundraises. And as you see, gives tens of thousands of dollars to library programming every single year. And services, because they've paid for our phone system, which was.
so is this
over
are you
$10,000.
specifically?
So I'm just saying-
Bringing
I'm
this
saying-
up to advocate for Annie to sit at the table, is that what this is about?
I feel uncomfortable, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so I would like to comment on that, and it's not gonna be a popular comment, and Annie, it's not a personal comment, it's simply a procedural comment. But when Annie did join us at the table, she felt she was able to take liberties and just contribute to the conversation without being invited to after she had given her reports. And I have to admit that I appreciated many of her perspectives, but that's not the point. And we have had other guests at the table who, me in particular, said, well, you can't say it that way, you have to amend it differently. And they felt because they were so available to the table that they had the right to correct a trustee in their.
Then I think the chair needs to be in control of the meeting.
Yeah, but it's very hard, Mark.
I mean,
It's
I
when
have-
someone speaks from out, it's very hard.
I have no problem with Annie sitting at the table.
I do have a problem with making an exception for the public because then we are not following Robert's rules
It's
and.
not the public.
It's not the public.
It's
Yeah.
like having the principal at the school committee meeting. They're not part of the school committee, but they're sitting at the tables and we're all one team, right? So
I have found that it's, as Maria said, I have found that it becomes disruptive and it's not possible for the chair to really, interrupt the meeting and saying, please don't speak, you've not been invited to speak. I found it's much easier to have anyone who is not on the board and obviously invited. Jackie had the respect for this board to sit off until it was invited to her to make a presentation, and I feel that was very appropriate. And I quite frankly, we've had a prior town administrator who took liberties and sat at our table and felt he could interject into the meeting at will. until he was actually asked to please take a seat as a guest. So I've had 3 years' experience here, coming into my re-elected 4th year, and this is what I have found.
And also we'll add that when Eileen comes, it just came to mind, actually, just sitting here. When Eileen comes, and I've had this conversation, we spoke, I said, oh, you know, she says, absolutely not. I do not sit at the table. It's the board members just at the table. If they ask me a question, as when she was at the last meeting that we had, she answers, but she does not get up and then sit at the table. She feels very, I know you could ask her, Mark, if you want to have some comfort in it, but that's what she says.
Again, she's a town clerk and you're talking about the town administrator,
And she's an elected official.
but none of these people are on our team. There's no one on our team any closer to our team than the Friends of the Flint.
Well, that's not true. I mean, I think everybody has their contribution. Jackie has a contribution. Eileen has a contribution. Justin, we're talking about town hall, so that's not fair to say that.
Well, is
You're
there-
undermining them.
Is there a legal?
Respectfully, in an effort to help you all navigate this so you can finish the rest of your business, given that it's already,
Good idea, because the janitor wants to
8:36.
shut the doors.
I
Thank
would
you
say
very
this.
much.
from a perspective of, I've been municipal staff for 10 years in 3 different communities. I would say that there's different levels of involvement with every board and committee. And I think every board and committee is different. And I think how you all want to be perceived and how you want your meetings to be perceived is at the discretion of this body and also the chair who presides over the meeting. And I would say certainly meetings that a select board conducts can be different than another committee that maybe is less busy or has less fiduciary items or less honestly items of legal. But I think what you're talking about, there's no right answer. You could do it any of the ways that you've all talked about. It's what the preference of this body, and truthfully, the chair, whomever they are, is the presiding person over the meeting. So if you want to change the room can be changed. If you want to update the feng shui of the room, because it is sometimes uncomfortable to have people where your back is to people the entire meeting, like I'm uncomfortable now because my back is to someone. That's something to
But
think
we
about.
might have 30 people in the room, your back might be to 30 people.
You might, but that's where sometimes when you become a board where you regularly have that volume of audience, you don't become a board that sits in a circle anymore. You become a board that sits in a row and you have an audience.
Was the library at the Fuller Meadow when there's a good, I've been tucked behind stacks and
We
that's
all,
a tough.
yeah,
room.
that's a tough room.
It's a tough room.
When we have our
Yeah.
new municipal campus, I
This
eagerly
is
look
better,
forward to welcoming you all to
Yeah.
the planned architectural meeting room that we have there that's ADA accessible.
Where's that? I'm sorry.
In the new municipal
Oh, in
campus.
the new building.
I'm already living in the future, Maria.
I'm like,
All of which to
where's
say,
this place?
all of these things, there's no legally
Well, maybe we
prescribed
can
way to do
continue
it.
this discussion.
Well,
Sue
that's
says she
respect
wants
for-
us to move on.
For
so
everybody, we can
respectfully.
table it, we can discuss it at the next meeting.
You guys-
We'll make an
Maybe
agenda
down
item
the
to
road,
discuss
yeah.
at the next meeting.
I do have to go. I want to thank you for your time. I'm
Thank you, Jackie.
so
We're
proud
honored
of your
you are.
use of
Thank you.
tabling. Like, great new skill learned
That was
tonight.
your, that was
Once you
your
gave it to
word.
us, man, we're
Yeah,
gonna
let's
take
just
advantage.
run with it.
We're gonna
But I
put that on
appreciate
the
your
board.
time and I'll see you all soon.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Jackie.
Good, you do an awesome
night.
job, Jackie. On the other boards I'm on too, you do an incredible job.
Table to table discussion, there you go.
Next agenda item is the director's report.
Thank you.
We're just gonna
Yeah.
go along.
I am gonna try to fly through this to the extent possible. Unfortunately, we are covering multiple months. And not only that, it's end of fiscal year, one of them, and opening fiscal year for the other. So it is gonna be, probably a little bit lengthier than my normal circuit budget reports, but, like I said, I will try to get through them as quickly as possible. Does anyone need a printed copy of the, circulation report? We'll start there.
Yeah, okay.
Anyone else? No? Aren't you one?
Thank you. Oh, I have cool color paper.
We color code pretty much everything in this. So, all right, so we'll start, for those of you that have the printed version, it's the orange one. We'll start with FY 24. So we closed out FY 24 at the end of June with really strong numbers. We have 1,846 more total circulations in FY '24 than we did in FY '23. And FY '23 was a record-breaking year, so we blew that one out of the water. By an additional, 1,800 plus circs. So
So what is this negative 498 that I'm
you're looking
at?
at the wrong one.
I'm looking at the wrong one.
June, we're looking at June's circulation report.
Okay.
So that July is the first
Maybe
month
I
of
better
FY
take the
'25.
orange one.
Okay. You would pass that, please.
Maybe my printer didn't print the back page.
No, so they're two separate documents. There were quite a few
Oh,
PDFs
I
shared
printed out just one. Okay.
for this meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you for counting. So, yes, so circulation, this was our highest year by far. Then the bottom part, we look at the total attendance. We had 48,293 people visit the library in FY '24, which was up almost 6,000 over the prior fiscal year, FY '23. So 5,927 more people came in FY '24 than FY '23.
10% or something, or 12, 15%.
Roughly, yeah.
No, 23 was like recovering from COVID.
FY '23, we still are. So we've surpassed circulation
Okay,
numbers, but we're still not at pre-COVID numbers for attendance.
I think so.
Our highest year was FY '19 for attendance, and we were about 60,000.
oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
we are still climbing, and we're approaching,
Yeah, no, you're doing good.
but we're still not seeing
Yeah.
pre-COVID numbers. Which actually, most libraries aren't
No,
in attendance, and actually circulation either, so, so we're doing well. So no real, and I should say the bottom number that you're seeing, the 482 over 7,122, that's the total number of programs over the total number of attendance. So in FY '24, we had 482 programs and 7,122 people attended those programs. These are live programs, which is higher than FY '23. We had 434 programs and 5,118 people attend.
It's noticeable. It's
So
very
it's-
noticeable.
Yes. Exactly. So that's FY '24 circulation. Any questions on that? So I'll stick in FY '24 and we'll look at the FY '24 budget report. Which I don't think we have it.
I printed something out that's two sides. And it says budget.
So the budget for FY '24 is going to be a two-sided document because we're looking at a full fiscal year. FY '25's budget report is a single-sided. So, okay, are we all looking at FY '24? And it'll say it in the top
budget item.
of the very left column. It'll say budget items FY 2024. That's the one we're looking at. Allison, you still looking through? Are you looking at the right
I
one?
printed out.
That's the circulation report. We're on,
2025.
That's
So you
the-
handed me 2024?
which is what we just looked at.
Yes.
So now we're on to the budget report for
Okay,
FY.
so we'll go back to that?
And then we're gonna do FY.
Okay,
Okay.
You're good.
Which one are you looking
I
for?
don't know, you're on.
The budget reports? Yeah. Yeah. So are you? So we're looking at the bright yellow one, for those that have a printed copy.
I
we're
think I
looking
actually
at-
did print it out. It's just, it's not
This is
yellow.
why we color code.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I did.
you will see, we are. Within budget on everything. We were in the negatives on some of the lines. But we used other lines within those categories under services, supplies, others, to cover those shortages. What's not reflected in this report, because it's FY '24, are the encumbrances that we had. So those are bills that came in later, came in work that was conducted or items that were purchased in FY '24, but the invoices arrived after the final warrant was processed. So we had to transfer those FY '24 funds to be spent in FY '25. So those encumbrances include an invoice for materials books for $22.94. And this will all be reflected on the FY25 budget reports as we spend them, so you will still be seeing those. And also we encumbered $3,235 for equipment, which are new AEDs, which I'll talk about later in my director's report. And we also encumbered $76.08 for building maintenance and supplies for a WB in order. So in total, we're gonna be spending, in addition to what you saw expended in FY24, $3,334.02. But again, those expenditures, because they'd be occurring in FY25, will be reflected on the FY25.
So that's what the confusion, as you said at the beginning, this is the end of one and the beginning of another, so.
Right, so that's why it is gonna take me a little bit longer to get through these reports, but I am gonna try to make it as clear and concise as possible, succinct. So any questions on FY24's budget? Okay, so FY24, we're closing out. We're moving on to FY25's reports. So we'll start again with the circulation report, which we're only looking at 1 month because we've only completed 1 full month of FY25. So the 2 columns, I should have said this in the beginning and I apologize, Costa. This document has a lot of numbers in it. So we're looking at circulation for FY25, so we'll have July. So current year data is in the columns, previous year data is in the grayed out columns. So we're just comparing month to month and then year to year. So you can see our circulation dipped, the number of items we circulated in FY25 versus FY24. We were about 500 fewer, 498 items, fewer items were circulated this fiscal year versus last.
And by items, we're talking about media, I mean, this entire list, museum passes, music, CD books, that's.
Right, so if you look,
Not all of them are down.
not all of them
But I'm
are,
just saying.
not all of them are down,
Right.
some went up.
Mhm.
All
So,
periodicals down 55,
right,
for instance.
so, you know,
Like,
small dips here and there because we have so many different collections, it does add up.
Yeah, you're down 200 videos, so it could be that, yeah, and people were happy with the program.
Right. So more people, as they go away, they're not watching the videos,
Yeah.
they're on vacation.
Mhm.
So, you know, summer, not surprised that we saw a video dip in the summer, but
But these are statistics that factor into what we were talking about with the goals and objectives.
right, so summer months, and you're kind of looking, like I said, at the big picture. You know, summer months are different than the rest of the fiscal
School
year.
Yeah.
Correct, the school year.
Yeah.
But also too, once the holidays start rolling around, we're gonna see changes then too. So you have to kind of look at a fiscal year in its entirety.
Mhm.
And also too, you know, the years that has, how things have trended over the past few years as
Yeah.
well. So anyway,
And also weather cakes
that's true.
impacts. Last July was rainy,
Right.
this July was
Hot,
not.
Right.
So which led to more people being
Beach days.
outside and therefore renting less, borrowing less videos.
There's a
Yeah,
lot that goes into it.
And a lot of other things.
Definitely the weather from last year.
So I'm not overly concerned about that number just because we have seen such a strong trend up.
Yep.
Over the last few fiscal years.
We have.
So I think we'll make that up in a month or two, so.
Definitely. Fall.
But good news, if you look at the bottom, our attendance is up, so we saw more people this July than we did last July, so. That's good. So I do want to see, I really want to focus on getting those attendance numbers back up, getting the people back in their library. So,
So
again, if we-
outreaches, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
Outreaches, folks that are stuck at home or injured or whatever reason they can't get here, we deliver books to them.
right, so
And there's only 19 or 18 or 19.
So though, for July, those outreach numbers reflect our outreach deliveries to the homebound seniors that we have. Not always though, that's not every month is going to be reflective of just that number. Because if we do, like outreach to the schools or outreach to the COA, that also counts. will be in that number, reflected in that number. So there's outreach, which is adult outreach, but also we have a row for J outreach,
Sure.
and that's to the schools and everything like that.
How
So
about
we
the
did-
prison? Is that in here?
So not yet. We have not started in-person visits to, so prison, no, we are not in person in the,
No, but deliveries, I mean,
we don't deliver to the jail. She picks them up, checks them out on her car. They don't have a librarian at the moment, but when they did, she was coming here because she had to be very, very particular about what she could take, what format and what content.
interesting.
So she would check them out on her card and circulate them to the inmates there. So that does not count as outreach because that is a person coming in.
Where do
So-
we reflect that then?
In our.
It just in general
our circulation
statistics as
number.
checkouts.
Yeah.
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 I would actually like to see that relationship develop.
Once there's someone back in the role, we had worked on building.
I know you had. So I wonder if you want to break that out from our general circulation.
No,
I mean, not for state or anything, but just for us information wise.
no,
No,
I feel like that's a bit of a,
okay.
just a privacy. I just, that just feels a
Okay.
little funny to me. I'd rather have their circulations in with the lump,
Interesting.
with the total.
Interesting. that-
Likewise, I wouldn't break out our DYS circulations separate from our total circulations.
Yeah,
The number of people we help, but we aren't gonna know that because we're not going into the.
but I'm just,
correctional facility.
does she have a personal card she checks her stuff?
Yes,
Why? Why? We don't have teachers have personal cards. They have
Yes, they
teacher
do.
cards.
no,
So they take them into the classroom as a personal
yes.
loan for the same.
So if they work at Howe Manning, many of the teachers don't live in Middleton.
Yeah.
They get a Flint card, good for our use only.
Right.
They check them out. They're responsible for those items in the classroom.
Well, that would happen whether it was a teacher card or that wouldn't change who was responsible, but the length of the loan period, for example, might change, that a teacher might get 5
We
or
would
6
automatically
weeks.
extend them.
Yeah.
To 6 weeks, right? So, yeah. We don't do institutional cards either.
Okay.
Items get lost. It's on a specific person. And the teachers, like I said, they will get extended loan periods, but we're getting off topic here, so
Yeah.
let's go back to. the
Well, I just
agenda.
wanted to see those broken out, that's all.
So, but like I said, our attendance is up, we're doing more programs, we saw more attendance at our programs this July versus last year, so questions on how to view the document? So the top portion are the collections and how many circulated in each collection.
Thank you.
Yes, so the middle section, the additional information is a further breakdown of the numbers you see above, but also sort of the numbers we can't really count as circulation, computer use and things like that. So reciprocal borrowing, network borrowing, out of network borrowing, those are all reflected in the top circulation numbers, like in the numbers above, because those are all circulations, they are counted. But this just gives you a little bit more of a breakdown of what you're seeing, what's going into those numbers. So, network loans are the items that we're loaning out within our network and the network. Reciprocal loans, those are the ones that people are coming in, from in our network that are, like, in Andover residents coming in and borrowing Middleton items with their Andover card. They're in MBLC, they can do that. With network ILL loans, that's things we're getting through the state Commonwealth catalog, Comcat.
Just 23 in a month?
So that's what we are, so which, 23, so out of network ILL, we borrowed 24 and we loaned 16
Borrowing.
5 rows above.
for Comcat. Are you looking at Comcat numbers?
I am, thank you, Mark. So
So that's a good thing. We want to see our out of network. What we're requesting in, we want to see that lower. We want to curate a collection in-house that meets our patrons' needs.
correct.
So we want to see small numbers. Small numbers there.
This is what my career was interlibrary loan. I was,
So ILL, that's also our network loans, which is over 2,000. So Comcat's Comcat's going
Yeah.
to be small. Because we have such a strong collection in-network. We don't have to go outside of it very often to find anything for our patrons.
Gotcha.
That's a good thing. You know, we have the option, but we should be able to find what our patrons want in our network, preferably in our library.
I have a difference of opinion for various other reasons, but not critical to this discussion.
Right. And then we have our attendance and our program. So any questions on July? That's our first month for this fiscal year 25. Okay. So looking at our budget report for July, you will see that July, there are two warrants, or, you know, two columns reflecting two warrants. The first warrant in July A is the initial warrant that we open up the fiscal year on, so that we can then enter in all our invoices for the full remainder of July. So July A is entered in by the finance director. It opens up our fiscal year. And then B is what we do internally. That's a mistake.
I didn't know if there was some number referenced. Okay.
So thank you for that. So budget FY 25, the left column is correct. The right column, I will make update.
It said 23, so it threw me off for a second.
Yeah, so the column on the right, yes, we got the right number on there.
I'm traveling back in time. Okay.
Something.
So this is reflective of our new FY 25 budget, where some of the lines are increased. And, we've increased our building, it significantly increased our building maintenance line from 14,000 to 21,000.
I remember when we made that,
Yeah.
just had that discussion, yeah.
I've already, as you can see, spent a significant chunk of that 21,000. We've spent 8,000 already, so it's just getting more and more expensive to take care of this building. So we will be,
What was the 8,000 for?
so it's all broken down on the warrant we just signed off on,
Okay.
but those are the bills that you signed off on tonight. But there's a lot of it was electrical work, that was about $3,000. We had fire alarm system work done, which was another pretty penny. I think that was about 1,500 or 1,800 or 2,000. So it's just, all these things just keep adding up. So. I
So
do want
next
to
year,
point,
we might have to put more money in.
we will,
Yeah.
yeah,
Or
we're, and
to
that's
request or increase
just the
amount.
cost of inflation alone. And the fact that everything gets older and requires a little more TLC.
Don't
We are going to have to keep increasing or requesting increases in our lines.
Yeah.
But that was the big expenditure that was just kind of a little shocking to see. The other one I want to point out is our MVLC membership. That line is solely for our membership, so that's why it's spent down to just $19. And then the other one is contractual, so that's for the full year, FY 25 full year of services. So a lot of our vendors are hitting us up July 1st for those invoices, so that's why a large percentage of our contractual is already spent as well. But everything else is pretty straightforward, but I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have. So. Looks good. Okay. Moving on to the program statistics sheets, we'll start with June. And that is the colorful one, colorful Excel sheet with the green, the blue, and the purple. It is tiny, tiny print, I apologize.
I didn't print it out, but that's all right. I looked it over.
Okay. So in total, for the month of June, we had 39 programs and 565 attendees. I shouldn't do that way. So, and that does not include 4 passive programs. So those are like our 1,000 books before kindergarten, the wall craft that we have the kids come in and decorate the wall. That Jackie changes the theme out each month, so it is a month-long craft that the kids can do. And then our summer reading as well for the month of June.
What was the program that I was here, I think it was earlier this week. Oh, I'm sorry, last week. It was booked solid and the room was full and there was people waiting because other people left.
Miss
So-
Frizzle.
drew a huge crowd. We also had one-up games, and that fills this room as well. We have music programs, and that's pretty much standing room only.
What was Jackie's program outside?
We've done a few
Was
outside.
that a
so
sing-along?
we've had music programs outside,
Yeah.
but we also had a dog program outside.
No, this was just a music program. I
Okay.
told her when I saw her in the parking lot that day and she was floating on cloud nine. I think we hugged. It was amazing. And I said to her, I'm gonna give you a shout out at the trustees meeting because I think this increase in 148 people was that program alone. I mean,
Yeah, that won't be reflected in the June
No,
numbers, but
yeah,
when
I
we get
get
to
it.
July, we may be able to kind of pinpoint what.
I just wanna say, I was so excited to see that, and I loved the fact that she got Aroma Joe's to come in and donate and work with us. I mean,
They didn't donate.
Oh, they didn't donate, did the
Not
funds
this
pay for
year,
that?
not, well, depending on which program you're talking about. Some they
Oh,
do.
some they do.
The most recent one, we did pay them to be here and provide beverages.
Okay, I'm not sure what Jack told me, but thank you, Andy, that was money well spent, because let me tell you, this was a pack. The parking lot, the streets, everything.
So, we had 11 children's programs and 326 people attended. That's.
I also think the selection of programs, to your point earlier, that tweens are a group that I don't want to see neglected, and I felt that they are less and less so. I think we are offering them more and more kinds of programs that get their attention, and I think we're gonna start to see them wanting to come.
They're already here. I mean, they're coming. So,
More and more, though, I think you're gonna start to see that.
So we had 25 adult programs, 225 attendees. 4 of them attended live, virtually, so. And then we had 14 tweens come for Felicia's 3 teen programs, so. And you will notice that under the children section in purple, the purple section, there are ones in red. And those are kind of the overlaps where we have different age groups.
Yes.
It was a tween and teen program for one-up game, but also it was teens and tweens for the internet safety. So where there's that overlap, it's in red. It's recorded because we can't record it twice and report it twice.
Right, no, I do know.
So we do highlight it in red, that it is a teen program as well. Okay. So any questions on June's programs before we move on to July? So looking, whoops. accidentally closed it. Looking at July's, again, really great numbers. We had 51 programs, 1,033 people came to those programs. So I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone might have, but it's pretty straightforward. So I don't want to spend too much time on.
I did have a question.
Yep.
I just wondered why we delayed the start of the summer reading signups almost 2 weeks after school was out. Why didn't we take advantage of school's out, come on over and sign up?
So our summer reading sign up, let me go back.
It was, I think, the 28th, and school got out the 11th, something like that.
So,
And actually patrons
so
came to me and
so you're
asked.
going back to, you're looking at the June then.
Well, it's reported in July, so.
So. No, so summer reading registrations, it's reported in the June program statistics sheet. It's ongoing because it's all summer long. You can register all summer long.
Right.
So it is also, it appears on July.
But when you announce.
But
it, you're talking
Our
about
summer reading
announce.
kickoff was June 28th.
Right, absolutely. I missed that meeting. That was the meeting I.
So we plan, and so
Why
I don't
was
think
it
they
in
had-
June 11th when school got out?
So we base it around when school comes up, but it ended up early. They ended up getting out early because they didn't have the snow days that were anticipated.
Mm.
So we do try to coordinate with.
It just
And
seemed that was
plus
that was a a
But also
loss
too, it's a
of
big,
2 weeks.
well, again, we're planning so far out in
Mhm.
advance and we book people for our summer reading kickoff.
Yeah, but I mean,
months
just
in
the
advance.
come on in and sign up and fill out your forms and pick out your books and start reading, because in a week, programs.
We
are
have a
starting.
kickoff program for that.
Mhm.
So, like I said, that is booked months out with, we had DJ Comedian. So we hire performers for that. So we have to get them well in advance.
can't
before
have a
we
soft
even
opening?
know When,
When you find out the day school's out, you can't have a soft opening.
again, it kind of takes away from the kickoff that we invested money in. So,
Okay.
again, it's, it is times with summer, we get it as close to, but also too, right after school. People are making sure everything's back in place and, that's not an ideal time. People are still kind of settling into summer. Then they commit. So we found it works well, we'll stick with it.
Can I do a little research and see what other libraries are doing?
You can do whatever research you want. I know you love the numbers, reaching out, so, if that's what you want to do with your time, absolutely feel free. So,
Sounds like they could use a volunteer up at the jail too.
Yeah, don't laugh, Mark, really, I'm thinking,
I knew you were. I saw it in your eyes.
yeah.
Sorry, carry on all the rest.
So,
Mark's a comedian sometimes too.
No, but he's hit a point, I'm feeling like they could use me up there.
His face is turning.
I'll bring books, I'll come here and take out some
Ellison,
books.
I think
I can get back to the program statistics.
Carry on, Red. Sorry.
Nope, so, again, it's pretty straightforward, but, any other questions? Okay.
A quick question,
Yes,
because
absolutely.
it's going so long, sorry, Sue, just a quick question. When you cancel programs, money is put into these, but do you lose money when they get canceled? Maybe everyone, different programs, it depends. And how do you,
Right,
so
so,
I just was wondering about.
so
things
each
like
program is
that.
different.
Right,
So
right.
in-house programs, we're not out the money because we're doing it in-house and we just keep the
Exactly.
supplies for the next one.
Right, but if it's
Um,
outsourced or you're paying somebody.
Then it's
lose?
very rarely canceled.
But like the flow
so-
yoga, they do it on the lawn.
We don't
if
pay
it's-
her for
if
that.
it's-
Right,
but
it's
if it-
weather permitted.
But if it's
That's
raining,
weather. and
yeah,
that's in-
right.
That's a.
yes, yeah. So,
And teen time, that's an in-house one, we
Okay.
do that here.
Make a splash.
And then make a splash, that's out on the lawn,
And
that's
I
where the
think it
water,
rained.
and that was actually thunderstorm.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we
there was a day that it was raining.
So,
Then DIY.
Do it yourself.
Rec this
Where are we
journal workshop for teens. That
So,
was
yeah, so
canceled.
that-
oh, so that's June.
DIY.
I'm looking at June, I was just curious, like, just about money wise,
Yeah.
losing money, do you lose
We don't.
money? Okay,
No.
all right, thank you,
But that's a great question.
because I'm all into the finances.
No, and
As
so
a-
actually,
talked about.
there was one performer, and it will be reflected in our statistics for this month. But the performer had to cancel, and I believe it was due to illness, and Jackie was like on it. She found another one to come in and fill the slot.
Yeah, it's Rockabye Beats, they canceled.
Thank you, thank you.
And
That's good.
came in and.
And yeah,
Well,
very
thank you.
last minute, she found
Thank you.
someone, yeah, so.
I didn't
we are,
take the
we
time,
are,
so
no,
you
yes,
can move
it's a
on, I
great-
don't want, because
it's a great
Sue keeps saying,
opportunity
move on, move
to,
on, so I only have one question.
It's a great opportunity for me to just highlight how
I'm done.
fiscally responsible we are as a library, but also to like the staff with their separate programming budgets. They are
Okay.
very, very. fiscally
You've answered,
responsible.
that's
So,
okay, you've done well, you answered.
It was just a great
To my
opportunity.
You have a small
Thank you.
pocketbook, you have a small pocketbook on programs and you gotta make it work.
Yep, no, my question is answered, thank you.
I think with the circulation reports and the positive traffic increases, I think we have a good position to show the town that we need more support. All right, sorry, carry
All
on.
right, so I'm
Yes.
gonna,
I agree.
as long as we don't have any more questions on the reports, I'm gonna fly into my bullet points on my director's report. And I'll pause briefly after each statement if you want me to expand upon or elaborate, clarify. Will let me know, but we're gonna start. Okay.
Go.
So updates on staffing and training. Just a reminder that the library will be closed from noon to 5 on Wednesday, September 25th. So staff can attend Library Journal customer service training. And that was the one that you had, as a board, approved to use state aid to pay for. So thank you for that support. My original request was for $1,751.20. One staff member was not able to attend. He's working another job that day. So the cost ended up being $1,691.50. So that's been paid
50
for.
cents.
Yes, and 50 cents. So,
Okay,
so less than what I requested, so I did just pay that invoice.
thank you.
So. I again am registered to attend Library Journal's Annual Director Summit for 2024. This year, it's taking place in Columbia, South Carolina, from Wednesday, November 6th. That's the preview, like a preview day. They do very specific workshops, and you can only sign up for one of them. So Wednesday, November 6th through Friday, November 8th. So Thursday and Friday are the full day-long conferences. Wednesday is a half day, like I said.
Say what that one is, the Library Journal.
Library Journal's Director Summit.
Good, very good.
An update, I'm returning to school this fall for a postmaster's certificate program at Simmons. I'm grateful to Simmons to extend the opportunity to me, and I'm very excited to continue my education in libraries and archives, because this certificate program is focused on archival work. So hopefully we can get something here. So part of the assessment that I want done once our 5-year plan is in place is to have a grant funded assessment conducted that will take a look at our historical collections. You know, we have Charles Flint's original collection here. He donated to the library. It should be looked at. We should be preserving that collection better than we are. But we also have a lot of historical items in the Historical Society. So we should really have some of that stuff here, housed properly and cared for properly. So, you know, I have a patron that comes into the library all the time. She is an archivist. And she and I are both agree that we need a space here to preserve Middleton's history. So looking to get an archival space here. So again, I was very excited to be able to be accepted to this certificate program. It's Simmons is the #1 in the country, so very excited for that.
Good for you.
Are you gonna be coming to us for some reimbursement for?
That I will be once eligible. I won't be in September, but Jackie will be. In March, I will be submitting tuition
Do you have
reimbursement.
a sense of what it's gonna be?
It's about $2,000 a class, so. It's half price because I'm a Simmons grad, so.
Look
could
at
be worse,
that.
Could be worse. Building updates. The carpet and upholstery throughout the building were cleaned back in early July. We did July 5th when the library was closed. So I really want to thank the local company Mark's Cleaning for working with us again this year on providing a very competitive quote and working with us to do it when the library was closed. He's very flexible in his scheduling, so.
Yeah, I
big thank
remember
you.
when that was done before,
Yeah, big thing. We do it, we try to do it annually if it's in the budget, so. Anyway, so as Mark noted earlier, trees around the library were cut back on Monday, July 29th. They were overgrown and really kind of encroaching on the building, so we were seeing not mold, moss growth on some of our plaster work, which is deteriorating. So just to save our building, preserve our building, we cut back the trees. The trees are fine. They're doing fine. I want everyone to know our trees are healthy and healing quite nicely. But the building is obviously much better off without branches brushing against it, keeping it in the shade, growing moss. And it's more visible.
Yeah,
So as
aesthetically,
the,
it's awesome.
yeah, as the
Looks great.
jewel at the heart of Middleton, we always are proud
Oh,
of
there you go.
our beautiful space, so. The library has 2 new AEDs, as mentioned before, that was some of the encumbered funds that we had transferred from FY24 to FY25. We now have 1 on each floor. Before we only had 1 in the building, we now have 2.
Can you say what an AED is?
Defibrillator,
Oh, defibrillator.
yes.
I did not go
So
there.
1 on each floor. As always, we have it out in the hallway across from the meeting room. And then we have 1 now upstairs, just outside the director's office. Just realized how creepy that placement sounds. It's just for convenience. It's not outside my office for any reason other than convenience.
Sure, Loretta, sure.
It's the sole medical invoice in there.
Yes, exactly.
And a staff training on how to.
Yes,
use
we
that?
received training.
You received,
Yes,
all staff received training?
yes.
Okay.
So I want to thank the fire department for not only placing the orders for us, but also getting us a second AED cabinet. They gifted that to us,
Oh,
so
nice. Who did that?
The fire
the
department.
fire department. So I'm grateful to them.
Did they give you the Middleton discount?
I don't know.
It was an old one they were throwing out.
It could be.
No, I'm telling you, but on the defibrillator, if there's.
So that's why the fire department ordered them for us, because they get the discount. We wouldn't have received it, so
Now, do you folks have Narcan here?
we do,
Okay,
yes. And we're trained on that as well.
yeah.
Have you never had to use those things?
Knock on wood. We're also working with McInnes Electric on repairing lighting throughout the building. We've had some ballast issues. So those have been replaced, but also bulbs have just burnt out over time, and they're too high up for our custodians to get with any of the ladders that we have. So they replaced those bulbs.
Does that kind of work go out for bid, or? does the
Depend
town
on
just
up to a
use-
certain cost. We don't.
Lance is local too, he's a great guy.
Correct,
Yeah,
and then he's the
great.
preferred electrician.
He's my
for
electrician,
Middleton
he's great, he's the
Yeah.
housing
Can I have a
authority's
question?
electrician,
Yeah.
he's
Are the
great.
lights LED, LED lights?
Some, but most aren't, and he and I are working on looking at what that process would look like, and if we can get grant funding to do it.
Yeah.
So,
'cause-
yeah, that's in the works.
And the other thing is, a lot of times if you go by, like the lights are on in the library, is that kept on, like after hours? Is
So
that
our custodians in the building until 9:30.
right?
After 9:30, the lights get shut off except for the emergency
Okay,
lighting, usually in the hallway, and there's some, but it's just, but then usually at like 11:30, the building's dark.
okay. No, I just, a couple times at night go by, I'm just trying to say, I know electricity.
I live by the school and I cringe when I see the lights on. I understand, I'm one of those Middleton residents too. But yes, they're on timers and things stay on
For
when needed
security,
and come on,
yeah.
exactly.
Security reasons.
So a brief update on the diffusers that we ordered for the it started with one broken one in the audio section. That's still an ongoing issue. The ones they sent were wrong. We still are waiting for their return to be, the items to be, the return to be processed, and then their truck to come and actually pick them up. So I have not received reimbursement for that because it was an FY 24 expense. I didn't apply for reimbursement. And hopefully, once they pick them up, they'll just credit my account for that. So it should be, because it went on my personal credit card.
Oh, no.
That's
So,
I don't like
just
that.
need to,
That's not a big deal.
no, so, right, it's not a big, it's
No,
just,
we've
it's,
reimbursed, it's happened.
I can, well, the thing is, it's different fiscal years. So I couldn't
It's happened
do it.
before, where we've had to reimburse, it's
Um,
common.
Right, so I get a reimbursement every month.
Yep.
It's not uncommon, it's just that this I paid for, and I'm waiting for them to credit it back, but they will not until they come pick it up, which they refuse to do. Anyway, I'm getting tired, we're getting way off topic here, moving on. Currently experiencing intermittent issues with our website, once again, this seems to be every other year kind of thing. And again, it's because of plugin problems. Michelle spent a good portion of her day, the better part of her day, on the phone with the host company, working on a solution. I just got a text message from her during the meeting saying that all appears to be well, so we should be back up and running. So huge thank you to Michelle for getting that done. It's a lot of work and a lot of time. But I do want to mention that throughout that intermittent issue, internet and wireless internet were not affected, so patrons were not affected. Computer use was still available, so it was just the website. The staff kitchen has been converted to a staff lounge, so we now have a place for staff to take their breaks, which I'm very excited about. I've wanted that since I started working here. It was really nice to make it come into fruition. So Felicia had a sofa in the teen area that she was looking to move out of the space, and I got thinking, well, that would be nice in a staff area. So we repurposed the sofa from the teen area into the staff lounge. I bought some throw pillows, a blanket, a table, a pillow table, lap table that holds books or a laptop or a tablet.
How
So-
big is this room? I should go in and look.
Absolutely, I can show you. It's not very big. I'd say probably from you to Costa to the back wall.
Yeah.
It's tiny.
That's better than.
It's better than some.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
the employees have their own space, like a locker or a,
So
area
staff
for
have a
their stuff?
drawer, yeah.
they all have their own drawer?
Yeah.
Awesome, it's important.
Okay, so we also purchased a new coffee table that has an adjustable top. So it could be coffee table height or it can be dining table height when you're sitting at the couch. And what's really nice is it opens double wide so it can seat four around it. So we can do like staff, we can put out staff party food and whatnot. So I'm happy with the space. I'm working with the Friends on costs of window treatments and things, so stay tuned for that. But Annie, stay tuned for that too. So as many of you know, the antique clock face that we have here at the library is run by an antique clock. And that has been out of commission for a while now. We just have not had the funds to sink into it. I'm hoping with the increased budget line that we will be able to do that. It's the estimated repair is gonna be 1,500 to 2,000, but Costa, I don't know, do you know if CPA funds could be used for clock work?
It's part of the old building.
Yes,
Then they could,
okay,
but you would have to wait until the next town meeting to ask for it.
right. So, you know, depending on the cost of this, we have options. Thank you for that. So, yes, because I do miss hearing the chime and winding it, but. Monday, this coming Monday, August 19th, the building conditions assessment will be conducted in the morning. So that's part of our capital plan process. So once that's done, we'll then kind of get different, we will get quotes from different vendors on necessary repair work that, you know, whatever's determined in the assessment. So and thank you to Justin for working closely with me to arrange that. He will be here with me on Monday. Library staff and programs, including services and outreach. June 2nd, we had the, again, we're covering 2 months here, so bear with me. June 2nd, we had our Tri-Town Pride picnic. This year, all 3 libraries were present, Boxford, Middleton, and Topsfield. And Flint Public Library had 241 attendees visit our booth that day. So thank you to the staff who worked that event.
What was it called?
I don't have the cost. I didn't break it out.
Was that in the?
So that was June, so it would have been fiscal year 24 expenses, so. June 22nd was Chief Will's Day. It was successful despite the rain. But due to the rain and wind, I opted to not have the library tent there and hand out materials, you know, flyers or anything. But I did volunteer at the food table and I was handing out food, wearing my library gear, library garb. So thank you to everyone for supporting this event. It's important.
What time's the assessment on Monday the 19th?
I believe it was at 10 a.m. 10 a.m.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it okay if I attend if I can?
If you'd like. So I completed my DYS onboarding training. So now both Felicia and I are cleared to begin working with the students at the Middleton DYS facility on Gregory Street. So back in July, we delivered books to them, but we do plan on switching to in-person visits. So during the summer, you know, they're on summer break, there's fewer students like in there, and they're kind of in transition. And then there's fewer teachers there, so. For July, we just dropped off books. They're using them for the summer.
That was you and who?
Felicia and I are
Felicia.
both cleared to work in the facility. So for July, we delivered books. They'll stay there for the summer and then we'll pick them up in September and bring additional books with us when we tentatively visit on Friday, September 20th. So we're working heavily with Boston Public Library. This is a pilot program. So BPL had started working with DYS youth. And they curated this wonderful collection specifically for use by these kids. And they wanted to kind of branch out, so they reached out to us first, us small town Middleton. And so we are the pilot partnership program. So like I said.
Who are you
hopefully-
working with over at BPO?
So again, I was gonna say thank you to Maddie and Jess, Maddie Copley and Jess Snow, BPM, for working with us and being such wonderful mentors and support.
I'll pass it on.
So Michelle and I are waiting on a few final numbers to finish out the ARIS report. It is due this Friday. So it will be completed and ready for Mark to sign later this week, hopefully Wednesday at the latest. So then we'll be on to the financial report, the state aid report, because that'll be due in October. So ARIS and then state aid. So it's a fun time of year. It's a lot of numbers. Once it's ready, Mark, I will let you know, and you just need to kind of come in, review and that's fine. So the library is once again participating in Essex Trails and Sales Series. So Sunday, September 29th from 1:30 to 3:00 p.m. I will be conducting, so it's a little bit different this year. We're not doing SC Tavern like we have in the past, but we will be doing tour of Laura Woodside Watkins Museum, which is almost rarely, it's very rarely open to the public. So I'm excited that Ann Cody partnered with me to make that available. So the program will start with a tour of the library, then we'll go over to the museum for a tour there. And then we continue down 62 Maple Street to the Tramp House behind the COA. And we talk about the history of that building and get a little tour of that. And then it's back to the library.
What's the date on that?
So that is Sunday, September 29th, 1:30 to 3:00.
I think the stream team is doing something at the Curtis Mill.
Oh, excellent.
Well, they're gonna have, like, I think Leon Rupchiknak is gonna be there.
Yeah. So we do have printed booklets for the Trails and Sales, the week and a half long event. It has location, it's all around Essex. So, right, so we have the books here if you're interested, pick one up. But it has all the dates and places and events. So that's it for my report. I do want to say the next meeting will be Monday, September 9th. We're back to Mondays, Monday, September 9th at 7 p.m. and it will be in the meeting room. Here.
It'll be here.
Here.
Great, thank you, Loretta.
Absolutely.
Any comments or anything else to discuss before we close the meeting?
There's nothing else on the agenda, right? That's it.
Other than the library being closed Labor Day weekend, I didn't put that in my report, so,
No surprise.
and then we return to normal hours.
Welcome, thank you.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
So.
All in favor? It's unanimous that we've adjourned this meeting, Stephanie, at 9:27 p.m.
Well, it's 2 months
Thank
in
you.
one, so that's part of it too.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so much.
Not usually this long, but it's two meetings in